Ethical Media presents companion material for the book Saul, David, and Solomon, Lessons in Faith, written by Sheila McDade. Part 1. The Call of Samuel. Samuel is a central figure in the telling of the stories of Saul, David, and Solomon. This timeline of the Old Testament shows how Samuel fits into the chronology of the history of Israel. The lives of Adam, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Esau are found in the book of Genesis, followed chronologically by the book Job. Then Joseph and Moses are found in the books Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Then the books Joshua, Judges, and Ruth. And then finally 1st and 2nd Samuel. The book of 1st Samuel begins with the story of Hannah, Samuel's mother, her prayer, her vow, and the answer to both in her child Samuel. As a small child, Samuel served under the tutelage of the high priest Eli in the tabernacle at Shiloh. Shiloh was the place where Joshua set up the tabernacle after conquering the land, Joshua 18, verse 1. And it was the center of worship in the period of the Judges, Deuteronomy 12, verses 5 and following. Samuel lived in Shiloh with the priest Eli, and his parents lived over 20 miles away in Ramah. His mother brought him a coat every year. And the child Samuel grew on and was in favor both with the Lord and also with men. Samuel served in the tabernacle, attending to the holy things under Eli's direction, and showed himself to be faithful. But Eli's sons, Hophni and Phinehas, rebelled against the Lord and were evil. Eli knew his sons were stealing meat that was to be sacrificed, and even worse transgressions. Now Eli was very old, and heard all that his sons did to all Israel, and how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he said, Why do ye such things? For I hear of your evil doings by all this people. Nay, my sons, for it is no good report that I hear. Ye make the Lord's people to transgress. If one man sin against another, the judge shall judge him. But if a man sin against the Lord, who shall entreat for him? Notwithstanding, they hearken not unto the voice of their father. 1 Samuel 2 tells about a prophet that went to Eli and asked him why he honored his sons above God, for they were allowed to continue in their sins. The prophet told Eli that both of his sons would die in one day. Verse 34. This prophecy of the death of Eli's sons was extraordinary because the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open vision. 1 Samuel 3, verse 1. And it came to pass at that time, when Eli was laid down in his place and his eyes began to wax dim that he could not see, and ere the lamp of God went out in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was, and Samuel was laid down to sleep, that the Lord called Samuel. And he said, Here am I. And he ran to Eli and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And he said, I called not. Lie down again. And he went and lay down. And the Lord called yet again, Samuel. And Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, Here I am, for thou didst call me. And he answered, I called not, my son. Lie down again. Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet revealed unto him. And the Lord called Samuel again the third time, and he arose and went to Eli and said, Here I am, for thou didst call me. And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. Therefore Eli said to Samuel, Go lie down, and it shall be, if he call thee, that thou shalt say, Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. And the Lord came and stood and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth. God spoke to Samuel and told him the horrible news for Eli. And the Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I will do a thing in Israel, at which both the ears of every one that heareth it shall tingle. In that day I will perform against Eli all things that I have spoken concerning his house. When I begin, I will also make an end. For I have told him that I will judge his house forever for the iniquity which he knoweth, because his sons made themselves vile, and he restrained them not. And therefore I have sworn unto the house of Eli that the iniquity of Eli's house shall not be purged with sacrifice nor offering forever. And Samuel lay until the morning, and opened the doors of the house of the Lord. And Samuel feared to show Eli the vision. But Eli made Samuel tell him everything. Then Eli called Samuel and said, Samuel, my son. And he answered, Here am I. And he said, What is the thing that the Lord hath said unto thee? I pray thee, hide it not from me. God do so to thee, and more also, if thou hide anything from me of all the things that he said unto thee. And Samuel told him every whit, and hid nothing from him. And he said, It is the Lord. Let him do what seemeth him good. And Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and did let none of his words fall to the ground. And all Israel from Dan even to Beersheba knew that Samuel was established to be a prophet of the Lord. And the Lord appeared again in Shiloh, for the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of the Lord.